Here is Tom Holmes. Tom's going to be talking about MediaCould, and his company is Deluxe MediaCloud.
Thanks, Julian. So, yeah, as Julian said, my name's Tom Holmes. I work for Deluxe MediaCloud. MediaCloud is a new business that sits within Deluxe. Deluxe obviously has a 100-year heritage within the film and TV industry. Deluxe MediaCloud was created 3 years ago by two founders. They were in the middle of some work with Deluxe at the time, and they decided that there was a space within the market for using IT and IP applications to transform the way that broadcast services are delivered and could be delivered in the future. And there are two very distinct parts to our business. One I'll talk about a lot today. The second I just wanted to make you aware of, and we probably won't go into too much detail today. But that second part is our, unfortunately it looks like number 3 on here, but that is meant to say number 2, is our enterprise-grade MAM and orchestration platform for playout services, which deliver via data centers using cloud-based technology and IP technology to kind of transform the way that service providers have traditionally delivered playout services. But what's more interesting, I think, today for this audience is some of the things that we've been doing around the internet as a mechanism for delivering live video signals and contribution services for broadcasters. And I'll talk specifically about a good example of something we're doing at the moment. But essentially, as part of the work we've done over the last 3 years, growing the business and delivering services for our clients, we've built a contribution and distribution network using IP technology. And, you know, done certain things very, very differently. I have a background, I came from BT, I was there for 9.5 years using fixed networks to deliver video services for traditional linear TV. And one of the things we're doing is using and completely transforming the satellite and the fixed fibre models that broadcasters have traditionally used by actually using the internet to deliver exactly the same services at exactly the same quality of service that you would traditionally expect to receive via satellite or via fibre. So one of the good examples and one of the projects that we're working on at the moment is the NFL. The NFL season kicked off on Thursday and will be running for the next 17, 18 weeks right the way through until February. And what we do is working with a partner, MP & Silver, who are the rights holder. They've been out, they've sold the rights. They also sell a delivery mechanism, which traditionally has been on satellite via RR Media. For about the last, I think, 9 years, they've provided a service, a distribution service, contribution service into the European territory. They would take the content, the NFL games, from a central location out in Pennsylvania. They would take that to their earth station from Pennsylvania, their earth station in Pennsylvania, to their earth station in Israel, where they would distribute the feeds to all of the broadcasters on satellite. We're kind of flipping that model on its head. The satellite feed is going to be available during the next season for broadcasters to take, just as they've taken it for the last 9 years. But we're putting in ISP connectivity into that Pennsylvania facility. We're bringing those exact same signals that are currently being distributed at 20 megabits on satellite. We're bringing them out at 40 megabits on a dual ISPs. They hit the internet. They then come into our data center. In our data center in London, we take those feeds and we're actually delivering them over the internet into the broadcasters across Europe. So they will have satellite, and they will take the feeds via satellite, and as a backup. But as a primary source, they're going to be taking those feeds, not at 20 megabits, but at 40 megabits to contribute into their programming. And some of those broadcasters are going to be the likes of Sports Club in Serbia, AMC, Sky in the UK. So, you know, very large brands beginning to migrate away from, or potentially look at migrating away from satellite and fixed fibre, using the internet to contribute and gather signals. An interesting conversation we had with the NFL at the time. They spent a lot of time over the last 2.5 years looking at IP, how they can use it, how they can develop it, and haven't quite found the right application. They think that there is something here with the work that we've been doing with them, and there's lots of ideas about how this could develop and how this could reshape what they're doing in the future. So for us, it's really exciting. for the people involved, it's very, very exciting. And I think, you know, once you see, and I was, you know, very lucky a couple of weeks ago with some of the pre-season games coming out of the US to actually see side by side a satellite feed at 20 megabits and the IP feed at 40 megabits side by side on two separate, exactly the same televisions and exactly the same screens, and the difference in quality is noticeable, and it looks exceptionally good. So we're really excited about that. So we're looking forward to this next season. The other thing that we have on top of the network that we provide is actually an MCR tool as well. So we provide the network as a managed service, but we can also provide it as a platform of service for customers who want to control their own feeds around their own network. And that application is called PORTALIVE. It's a web-based application. It's essentially a switching tool. It allows you to switch an origin to a destination by just a very simple drag and drop. So once we have deployed our network and our equipment into locations, you have the ability to move content between those locations very, very simply. It also comes with a recording mechanism, and it comes with reporting, and you can dial in and do lots of network diagnostics if you should want to. It's a very, very smart tool that's been made very, very simple for people, broadcasters, service providers, to manage their content around the globe. And we're quite excited about some of the opportunities and some of the things that we can do with that product moving forward. So really, what are we kind of addressing, and where have we come from, and you know, what are some of the benefits of some of the things that we're doing, and really why we did them. So 3 years ago, as I said, the business was created. It was created by broadcast technologists. It wasn't created by IT people. It was created by broadcast technologists that looked at the market, looked at broadcasters, looked at content owners, and looked at some of the challenges that they were facing probably over the next 3, 5, 10 years. And some of those things are you know, launching new services, launching new platforms, being able to hit new locations very quickly, seamlessly. You know, it's not something that is very easy today to do, or has been in the past very easy to do. There's lots of legacy proprietary hardware systems out there that are very difficult to integrate. As an example, you know, if you're a broadcaster launching a channel, let's say 3 years ago, you would have had a very simple process to go through, a lengthy process, but a simple process, which would have been, let's create a business case, let's go to create a business case, get that signed off, then we'll build a supply chain to deliver that network, deliver that service wherever it needs to go. And you're probably looking at quite a long lead time. It's quite CapEx heavy. We've tried to flip that on its head. We create services within our cloud environment that are OpEx-based services. They're very flexible. So if you want to take new content to new territories or new platforms, because it's all software-based, it's very, very simple to do. Equally, it's very, very quick to do once you're on the platform. And so some of the benefits that come with that is it allows you to launch in new markets and in new territories rapidly. It means that costs are actually lower, as I say, a CapEx versus OpEx model. Because we are broadcast technologists, because we're not IT, because you know, we've built this to the availability that broadcasters would expect. There's very little risk in working with us and the way that we do things. And as I say, it comes with, because it's software based, it's content agnostic, you know, multi-formats. You know, if a new format comes out, if 4K takes off and 8K then comes, you know, it's very, very simple. It's managing and it's manipulating software. It's not about delivering new hardware and new systems. So very, very simple. So what are some of our strategies and some of our goals over the next 12 to 18 months? As you see here, these are some of the brands that we're already working with and some of the services that we're providing already. You know, there's some very big brands that we're working with. We want to grow the number of brands that sit within this slide. Equally, the dots and the points that you see within this slide are those areas that we're currently delivering to, are those areas that currently have our equipment, are those territories and regions that we want to work in and are working in today. What I'd like to see is over the next 12 to 18 months is that those number of dots treble, quadruple, you know, if not we go even further, and really grow out the density of the network and grow out the amount of content that we have on the network, and allow broadcasters, allow content owners to share content in a really simple, cost-effective way that, hasn't necessarily been there before. And really that's what we're looking to do over the next 12 to 18 months. So the final thing I wanted to leave you with, I would have loved to have done a live demo of the system that operates and controls our network, but due to some limitations with the Wi-Fi and internet, it probably wasn't appropriate to do it at this point in time, but certainly it's something we can do in the future. But just wanted to leave you with a simple screenshot of the services that we provide. So at the top you can see a very simple multi-viewer where you can look at all of your content if you want to. You can make that into one big screen of looking at something if it's really important. But essentially, up the top, you can view all of your content. You can obviously see the audios. You can see everything associated with that piece of video. And you can have that as your MCR tool and as your view. Below, you'll see the two lines of screens. Those screens are effectively your origin, your destination. You can switch any origin to any destination by just dragging and dropping those. You'll get a pop-up that says, "Are you okay? Are you sure?" You hit that, then within seconds, feeds our switch between two locations, and that's how simple it is. It's so simple, I can use it, and anybody within an MCR environment would be able to use it quite easily as well. Any questions?
That's absolutely fascinating. And I guess that you could use it just as much for, I don't know, an HBO-type series, delivering that across the world to the different broadcasters who were taking it just as much as you can for the live sport.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. So, for want of a better word, it becomes a content exchange. A place for people to sit within the network and just share whatever content they want. One of the applications we have looked at is live news. And being able to deliver live news over this network. And at the moment, we're not quite there with live news, and the reason we're not is because that's quite operationally heavy in terms of people needing to sort of staff that. But certainly,
it's interesting. I think that the BBC's head of news has been talking in the last few days about moving from, I forget the precise phrase, but effectively from rolling news, as he put it, through to streaming news. Yes. So there's this change in formats of two people, a boy and girl behind a desk, delivering news stories, to something more immediate, which is perhaps akin to all these news alerts we get on our mobile phones and tablets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our role that we would play within that environment and within the broadcasters is allow them to do those types of things, to run those types of applications, and to be the creatives around exploiting our technology as far as they can.
And the NFL? At what point will they switch off the satellite and just keep with your system?
It's an interesting question.
Are they? Not necessarily because there's anything wrong with your system or indeed with satellite, but simply that built-in redundancy which is there.
Yes.
Something as important to properties.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think satellite will continue to have its place. We're certainly not looking to displace it. We see our service as very much complementary. But as I said, and the example I can give is, we were doing an install on Thursday, and we installed our kit, we racked and stacked it, and this was sort of 10 o'clock at night. We had a call with the broadcaster and said the kit's all there, now we just need to, do the testing that we need to do. We have very strict policies, very strict procedures, and we've got 7 days of testing, and then we'll let you have it. And they said, oh, no, do that in an hour, because we want to use it tonight. And that's fantastic. People are so enthusiastic because they see the quality that they're receiving.
I think it worked first time.
It will do after 7 days of testing, absolutely. But there are very strict.
You didn't let them have it.
No, absolutely not. We have a procedure in place. We have an agreement with MP and Silver and the NFL, and we weren't prepared to break the quality or the security that sits around that at this moment in time. However, fantastic to see the enthusiasm of these engineers and CEOs wanting to get their hands on the content that we're able to deliver them in that quality.
That's great. Tom, thank you very much indeed.